97.1, good to have you aboard on a Thursday. Terry riding shotgun. We're all freezing our asses off. Let's embrace it. We've got a lot to do today, people. And yes, the first edition in almost 5 months of foul feedback as Terry braces for it, prepares for it.
Yes, indeed.
We got a lot to do. And it starts with the Lions. But yes, we're going to get some college football in the mix. And we need to talk a little bit about the winter sports here. The two dreadful teams that we have in this city, the Pistons and Red Wings.
It's really cold this winter.
Oh, it's so cold in the D. But we have a lot to do, but I want to jump in with this Bob Quinn stuff, and I have a piece of audio I want to play. We don't hear from Lions GM Bob Quinn very often. Don't see him, don't talk to him, don't hear from him. But bringing back Jim Caldwell, he had something to say, and it seems like an innocuous statement to some. To me, I think it strikes a real chord because I think it's something that a Lions GM would say. It's a very Lions comment. So I want to play this audio, and then I want to ask a question following it. Michael, do we have that queued up?
Yeah, and this is from Sirius Radio, by the way.
This guy is on the money today, people. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jim's done a really good job. Him and his staff have really, put together this team with help on my scouting staff, and they really did a good job developing some of the young players. We got quite a number of rookies on the team that are playing significant roles. So I'm really happy with that, how that has gone. And, making the playoffs is pretty difficult to do in this league, as a lot of coaches and front office people know. So I was really glad to, bring Jim back for next year, and really excited about keeping the focus on Saturday night in Seattle.
Okay. Now, I want to strip away everything else he said there. It's no interest to me. Bob Quinn's quote that it is pretty difficult to make the playoffs in the NFL. I challenge that. I disagree with it. And I actually think it's the complete opposite. The NFL has done everything in their power over the previous 20 years to make it easier to make the NFL.
What he meant is pretty difficult for the Lions to make the playoffs. So that's what he meant to say.
Well, right, but that's why it's a Lions thing to say. I don't think it's difficult to make the playoffs. You guys already know my opinion, that when you make the playoffs, it's a baseline. I mean, you can't have a successful season if you don't make the playoffs. But making it doesn't make it successful. It's what you do in the playoffs. That's how real football cities grade their teams. So I'm asking you guys, and I know it's bone-chilling out there. 2 hands on the wheel, please. But I'm asking you, 248-539-9797. Is that an accurate statement by your general manager? Or is that a Lions statement? That it is pretty difficult to make the playoffs when, in fact, like, example, this season, this NFC, it wasn't difficult at all to make the playoffs. All you had to do was have a little bit of talent and actually show up in all of your games. Sign the Redskins, who went zombie apocalypse 2 of their last 3 home games. 248-539-9797. The ticket text 97136. Terry, what side of this are you on?
I'm on the side of this. I do know this. Bad teams, and I'm not talking about average teams. I'm talking about the worst teams in the NFL, typically make the playoffs 3 out of 10 years. It is difficult for this franchise to make the playoffs. So, all GMs kind of say that because they want you to think that their job is so difficult or the coach's job is so difficult. It's not. I would say this. Making the playoffs is moderately challenging. That's the way I would look at it.
You don't get to look at it that way.
Well,
baby, this is this or that radio. It's just that simple.
Well, I understand that, and I am saying he is wrong. And I have my own definition for which I am entitled to do.
All right, Terry's making his own rules up. Good. That's just going to create a real bleep storm for the callers. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying
we've lost cabin pressure.
No, it is not. Here, I'll say this simply for you. It is not relatively difficult to make the playoffs.
There we go.
Can I do that? Is that okay?
I think that's fine because you've got. I know what side you're on by that answer. I don't believe it's difficult to make the playoffs. I'm not telling you it's the easiest thing in the world, but it's surely not difficult. And for any team in the NFL, I actually think it's harder to end up as the Jacksonville Jaguars or Cleveland Browns than it is to just end up as a team that semi-consistently makes the playoffs. The game is designed for you to make it. And as you said, whether it's 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, it's immaterial to the discussion. It's designed for teams to go to the playoffs in 3-year cycles. Every roster is flawed because of the salary cap.
Yes.
Those flaws create parity. The parity creates opportunity. The opportunity is you make the playoffs. So I don't believe in that comment. I'm asking you guys if you do. Do you believe that Bob Quinn is saying something that is actually true, or it's only true here for Lionland? That a Lions GM can tell you that it's hard to make the playoffs. You know, does Green Bay think it's hard to make the playoffs? They've made it 8 years in a row. I mean, I just...
No, they're supposed to be in the playoffs every year. In Green Bay, they would tell you, yeah, we're going to make the playoffs. Here, we want to win a championship, or we expect to win 1 or 2 games. Sure. They know they're going to be in.
Hey, how about this? Even if Green Bay had only made it 4 of the last 8 years, is it difficult to make the playoffs when you do it half the time? No. Only the truly wretched and reprehensible organizations in the NFL don't make it, and don't make it consistently. So I'm making a point that I don't care what organization you are. You need to look at this and have a standard. And the standard is it's not really hard to make playoffs. And frankly, you should make it. And I won't say you should make it more often than not. That would be unfair. But you should make it half the time.
Yes.
Or even Terry's baseline. I mean, look, 3 out of 10 years, that's a bad job.
And that's for the bad teams.
Right, people are getting fired at 3 out of 10. You know what I mean? You're batting 300, 333, you're fired. In the NFL, you should make it damn near half the time. That's what the league's designed for. So your GM went out and said, hey, it is difficult to make the playoffs.
That's what I want.
Oh, thank you, Hatchet. 248-539-9797. The ticket text 97136. Sully, what side of it are you on? Just want to see where you two are at before David gets angry screening
No,
calls.
I definitely think that is a Lions thing to say because, no, I don't think it's overly difficult. I don't think it is very difficult to make the playoffs in the NFL. It's just we're in a city where it doesn't happen all the time, so that's just what they go to as their crutch to justify their decisions.
So does this team's past serve them in allowing him to say that?
Exactly. This team's past allows him to use that as an excuse or as a crutch or as a reason
and get away with it
for the decisions that this organization makes.
So let's build on this. Am I a complete jerk because I don't allow them to get away with that? That I don't care about what your past is. You're here to create the future and the present. It should not be viewed as difficult to make the playoffs.
You know what? For once, I'm going to say you're not a jerk.
Thank you.
For that.
That was very heartfelt. 248-539-9797. I would ask Hatchet, but I have an idea what his answer is, and he's screening some calls. We've got a couple open lines if you want them.
That's what I want.
Oh, thank you. I have a feeling that's going to be a popular drop in 2017. I want to get the people involved. We will hit some college football. Got a question for you about Alabama that I think plays. We also need to get into the Wings, Pistons, all of this chatter about Jim Caldwell and job security. And there is some outrage. I'm not going to say a ton, but some people are outraged. Boy, are you whistling by the graveyard with your winter sports.